talking with Dr. Nancy White. We're talking about ADD, ADHD. Can you talk about some of the therapies for that? We hear a lot about the drugs that are out there and maybe some of the side effects, but what are some of the alternatives?
Well, I have to throw in there that the drugs are kind of my soapbox. I'm against giving children drugs. I don't think that we have a clue what we're doing because we've got a young developing brain and we don't know 50 years from now what all these drugs are going to do to these brains. So I'm against that for starters. Also, I'm also against it because to me, the task of childhood is predominantly to learn how to cope with the world. And if we're learning how to cope with the world after taking a pill that alters reality for us, is that really learning how to cope with the world? And when you take the pill away, you're right back where you started, if not worse off. And so there you are. What I've done for more than 20 years is called neurofeedback or neurotherapy. And it is an EEG feedback. It gives the brain information with both sound and visuals about its own patterns. And you see, I believe that when the brain, that we are created to be in good balance, to be in homeostasis. And we create environments where that doesn't work very well anymore in our environment. We get in our own way. Our environment gets in our way for homeostasis. And so as we move along with that, then what we can do is if we can figure out a way to give the brain information about how it's functioning, give the brain information about itself, then the brain immediately goes to work to try to do it better toward that homeostatic or that balanced state. And then when we, with our software and our programs, we guide the brain in the direction we want it to go in and give it rewards when it's going toward the norm and hold those rewards back when it has gone in the other direction, then the brain is the one that we're training. We're not training the person. Now, I know a lot of therapists out there that work with the kids. I think they think about that they're training the person. Well, up to a point we are. But I tell the parents frequently when I work with these kids, they'll say, well, Johnny doesn't want to be here. Johnny wants to be out playing with his friends or playing baseball or something. And you know, he's not going to pay attention to this. And I say, it's okay, because his brain's going to hear it. Now, if he's really committed and if he pays attention, he'll get there faster and do better. But even if he doesn't want to be there, it doesn't matter because the brain is getting the information. And I tell them, the brain, we're training the brain trains the child. Okay. And that's really what happens. So it's a very benign treatment that really has no major downside if you've got a clinician that knows what they're doing.
Sure. Can you talk about the treatments a little bit more and in terms of time? You know, when can you see results and how long do these treatments last and the sort of success rate that you've had?
Sure. Generally speaking, in the past, I have said to people, we will do an average of 40 sessions. With someone really severe, it may be more. In the past, we have certainly gotten to where we want to go with some kids, somewhere between 25 and 40 sessions. But what I have found over time is those people that said, whoa, this is expensive, it's a lot of time, it's, you know, a lot of effort, we got where we wanted, bye. And sometimes that doesn't hold because it's like, from my point of view, it's like cutting a road through the jungle. And you go in with your machete and you cut it enough to get through to the other side and you say, whoa, I did it. I'm at the other side. And you walk away. But you come back after a while and it's grown back together. And I think of the brain and the neural pathways as something similar to that because you've got to really reinforce it and then it holds. And so we're talking about something that is the rest of your life, unless you do something really toxic or you have a head injury or something like that, a trauma. Then you could regress some, but then you can do boosters and bring it back. But Dr. Joe Alubar, who back in the early 70s did the original research in this and created some of these protocols and realized we could train the brain and we could affect ADHD kids. He was from Knoxville, Tennessee, I believe, which was a small enough town, and it wasn't as portable as Houston is. I mean, everybody's in and out, in and out, in and out. So he was able to go back and find a large population of people that he had trained at that time more than about 30 years before, and interviewed them all, gave them some testing, and found that they all said, "You fixed my life." So it does, it holds. So it's permanent. It's not like a pill that a few hours later it's gone.